And it's the property talk where we make sense of the real estate industry. And set with me is someone that we're going to talk about post-COVID, the heat of COVID on the real estate industry, what is preferred when it comes to property. Yes, it's Philip from Spectrum. Philip, it's lovely to have you on set with us today.
Thank you.
I'm going to start straight away from COVID because if there's any sector that has been hit by COVID, it was the real estate sector. I think we felt the heat, the wave, a little harder and hotter than any other industry or sector in the country. So, just a brief, how was the real estate sector hit by the COVID?
Assessing the impact of COVID-19 on the real estate industry is quite challenging. You can gauge on a scale of 1 to 10. I mean, it's about 9. So when you look at the purchasing power, is really down.
Yeah, I noticed we haven't yet got that back up.
Yeah, there are few buyers in the market. There are so many people selling their properties to recover from economic. This impact really is so huge. Post-COVID, I mean, look at the mortgage rates. The real estate market has really been impacted. Commercial, residential, most of the commercial properties, the offices are empty.
True.
Hotels as well have been affected so much.
Malls were affected.
Exactly.
Yeah. There you have it. Just a brief into this talk that our sector was hit the hardest, I should say, because there were other sectors that were hit, but there were necessities, that were needs that were pivotal to our lives. Yes, shelter is pivotal, a roof over your head is pivotal, but think of the landlord who owns the property where a tenant couldn't afford to pay rent because they were not working or they were laid off work. That's why I say we're hit the hardest. But anyway, we're recovering. We hope for better. Now, the fact that we are open, we are back out there. What is the market like right now? What is the feedback from the audience? The fact that you deal particularly in property now.
Well, surprisingly, the prices have not gone down.
They're actually getting higher.
They're getting higher. The challenge with real estate is there is demand.
Yes, the demand is there.
And where there's shortage and there's demand, the prices have to continue to go up.
The scarcity. Because
yes, exactly.
We still actually have facing the deficit of housing.
Yes, so however, there are trends which people are adopting to. Smart real estate developers, investors are moving forward with developing new properties and following up with the trend. Here and there are some areas, of course, which cannot be affected so much, because when you look at where most buyers are going or renters are going, that's where the business is.
Which areas are those, the most desirable areas for people living, that purchasing property in or actually going for rental property?
When it goes to real estate, the formulas don't change. You can't reinvent the wheels. So it's about the location. There are areas that really.
But now, in Uganda currently, which are those locations that are desirable, that when you look at our market, you're like, this location has a boom, there's a hit here?
There's Eastern Kampala.
Which is?
Starting from Ntinda, going east of Kampala, Chanja, Kisasi, Chiwature, Nalia. Those are the areas, because basically the services are closer. When you look at the malls, the roads, the schools, basically that's where most of the direction is to any developer or investor in real estate.
Okay. Yeah. And areas like, let's say, Buziga, Kabalagala, Kansanga, Mienga, how are those doing?
The thing about real estate, the data or the data that is available does not lie. When you look at those areas, most of them developed in the 90s, and the land is expensive within those areas. You make money when you buy, not when you sell. So that's the formula most developers.
Wait, help me break that down. You make money when you buy, not when you sell.
When you sell.
Break that down for me, because I thought you'd be making money when you sell.
No, you can't make money when you sell. It's when you buy. Okay. So let me make it simple.
Yes, please.
If I buy land more expensive, that means selling this product is going to be quite expensive as well. So if I buy cheaper, that means I'll sell it at a good.
Oh, now that makes sense.
Yes.
Yeah.
So where would you go to buy land that is cheaper? It's mostly the eastern part of Kampala that you find so many options for you compared to the Buziga, the Mienga, and so on, those areas. So it makes quite difficult for an investor to put their money where land is expensive. It's the market that controls the prices, So if I'm a developer, an investor, and I want to sell maybe a block of apartments, where would I choose, Yeah.
I think there's a bit of high properties for sale, and then there's also the high need for rentals, which is on a higher demand. Properties for sale or rentals? Which do people want right now on a higher demand?
The trend right now is buy-to-let investment.
Okay.
Those are apartment blocks. People have changed their mindsets on probably houses, because if I have two houses and I'm adding on my portfolio, I would prefer to buy apartments, because I'll give an example. If a house is vacant for 3 months, I mean, are you making any money?
No.
So if an apartment of 12 blocks, units, and one is vacant, I'm continuously earning my rental returns. So the apartments are really picking up, even condominium apartments, it gives an option to any investor.
Are Ugandans now trying to be more lenient and more understanding when it comes to condominium property for buying, not rent?
Yeah, absolutely, purchase? Absolutely. As an investment, if you have the power to purchase maybe 2 or 3 units, why not? It's better than buy a standalone house, because when you look at also the maintenance, the cost and all that, it's quite high.
If you could help me and give me a comparison post versus the time before COVID, during COVID, and post-COVID, rent-wise, have we seen a change in rent, or is rent actually just hiking?
Well, I would say that the areas that were hit most are the ones where you have expatriates, properties that are rented by expatriates. But properties that are on the local market, local Ugandans, they are not so much affected, because there's already demand, we have the youngest population, people are graduating, people are moving out of their parents' homes, so they need to find homes where to stay. So there's demand for the local market. So,
but what I'm asking, did landlords increase rent prices, or were rent prices subsidized and maybe tried to put at a lower rate?
Rental prices really went down in these high-end properties. For instance, in Kololo, Nagura, and although the rates went down, but I'll give you an example for the developers who have built apartments in other areas where there are so many renters, the demand, so the prices actually go up. Okay. I'll give an example. Last year, a one-bedroom apartment in Chanja, Kisas, was going for about 800. Right now it's at $1 million. And whatever comes up, it's occupied fully, 100%.
And then how are you seeing the housing deficit gap? Is it being bridged right now? The fact that you're in the middle of the field, you're at the center of actually the core of real estate. When it comes to real estate in Uganda, you're among the few that are at the core of it. Is the deficit gap being bridged when it comes to housing?
Not yet. The players, the government should actually be the number one player in real estate development, affordable properties, But it has left it to the private sector or the private individual to do that. They cannot.
So you feel like the government is not carrying in any weight or doing anything to try and help this deficit?
It should be, but they are not playing a lot. National Housing, NSSF developments are targeting most high-end.
NSSF has developments, so the developments NSSF is making, you feel they're not catering to the need of the housing market in
Absolutely, absolutely. If you look at the middle class, so the affordable properties, I want you to point one property being developed by NSSF that is really targeting the affordable, the middle class. There's none. Look at the project in Lubowa. It's more high-end. How many Ugandans can afford those kind of properties?
They also have one in Mbuya.
Well, Mbuya, what price? If you're talking of about 650 million, you're not really solving the problem of accommodation. Yeah, you're not.
You feel the government needs to weigh in more on this?
Yes, they should do.
Has the dollar in any way affected the rent prices in Uganda or the purchase power of real estate? Because the dollar has been fluctuating, and currently as we speak, last night I actually realized the dollar is at 3.7. Is this affecting anywhere real estate market?
Yes, in one way or another. Depends, if developers, local developers are purchasing building materials here, there will not be so much.
If the building materials are
locally.
Produced locally.
Yes, however, but if you're purchasing from China or Dubai, the rate at which you're buying, it has to affect, If I purchased something last year of about, let me say, $1,000 and it's at about $1,500, that means the prices have to go up here as well. Yeah.
Of late, there's been a very huge problem when it comes to cement prices. They just skyrocketed over one night. How has this changed the pricing on the market? Because we need to look at the fact that there's already property that was on the market and then property that is just being constructed. Has this in any way also influenced the already constructed properties for them to take advantage of the prices to also put markups on their property?
Well, it depends. Because if I'm selling properties off plan, however, if you're coming into the market as a new buyer, that means the prices they must change, most definitely. There's no shortcut to that. You know, if the construction per unit or per square meter has changed, I'll give an example. Per square meter might go for about $1,000. So if the rate has gone up, why not? It will most definitely affect the construction prices.
But is there anything being done to like censor this, to hold this and bridge it to see that these prices are at least kept at a constant, whereby they do not actually have to go out of the roof or skyrocket?
It's impossible. You cannot control, if you fail to control the real estate market, you cannot control the prices. These prices are set by the developers. These prices are set by the land dealers. The government has no say in this.
So there's no hope for anything. Let's say there are no platforms where we can try and see that these manufacturers at least try to put at least standard prices for some of these products they're manufacturing.
It's not that.
Mostly, I'll keep giving the example of cement, cement and steel actually, but let me keep giving the example of cement, because cement is the one that shocked most of us.
Yep.
And I believe on the market still. Have there been any initiatives to try and see how you can try and sit down and talk to these industries that are manufacturing to see how they can actually give you, like the way the government would give tax holidays?
That's a discussion that we can think of, but there's none whatsoever. Because when you look at developers who are continuously in business, they can have their way out to negotiate prices on this, because I don't believe they should be getting at the same price like any other person. If I'm building my own house and I go to a hardware shop,
exactly, that's what I'm saying.
So I believe they do have discounts. You know, if I'm purchasing over 1,000 bags a day, there should be a proper way discount from that.
If we go into other issues and bottlenecks we have in our real estate industry, we could spend the whole day.
Exactly.
But I'd like to know what makes Spectrum Services different, special, and unique in the real estate market.
Well, it's very simple. It's we offer end-to-end service and solution to real estate.
And what is the end-to-end service?
You know, we don't only sell your house and we stop there. We don't only manage your property and only collect your rent and manage maintenance and repairs. We provide solutions to the landlords, to the person who is purchasing, to the developer. So we look at providing solutions to these individuals, for instance, in the marketing of their properties, providing solutions through technology. So there are so many solutions that can be offered to the real estate market.
And there you have it. It was Philip with Nyonset today. There's much more that I would like to discuss with Philip, mostly when it comes to the bottlenecks in our real estate industry, because I would like to hear it from someone who's in both fields of real estate industry, someone that deals with the provider, the service provider, the end user, the tenant, the developer, the seller, and the buyer. Philip, it was lovely having you on set. Thank you so much. Till next time, it was the Property Talk.